Hello and welcome to the Watering Hole. Thanks for checking out this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that'll make the baby Jesus cry, and I know how much you guys love making the baby Jesus cry. All right, so next up, this is where we're going to turn into, like, American politics are dark. Then we go really dark and we talk about the subway shooter that happened this past week. So I picked this article, and like specifically all the articles kind of give the same information, but this one points out that the shooter actually, like, he called the tip line on himself because he, like, after he did it, he was just like sitting in a McDonald's waiting to get caught and nobody was coming to catch him. So he called the tip line to tell them to come and catch him. And then they took so long getting to him that he got bored and left. And so, the police had to have, like, a citizen point out and be like, "Hey, it was." Funnily enough, so one of the problems they had is that the security cameras in the subway weren't working, and they say that it was only these 3 cameras out of the 10,000 cameras were not working that day. It's like, I'm gonna call bullshit on that.
Yeah, I think you could also rephrase it as all of the cameras at this station that we needed were broken on the same day.
Yeah, but they have 10,000 cameras and all of them were working except for those 3.
No.
That
just no.
But the guy that actually, like, caught him and turned him over to the police was he's a security camera installer.
Oh.
So it's like his name is Zach. So if they just had Zach install the security cameras, or like fix the security cameras for them, then they wouldn't have had that issue in the first place.
But Zach's doing all the police's work for them. That's clearly all we need.
It's like New York City has one of the most expensive police departments there is. And I think it's like $10 billion a year is their budget.
Wow.
And so for $10 billion a year, they couldn't find a guy that turned himself in.
Yeah.
Without help.
Yeah. And the best part for me is that then they were like, they did this tweet about it and they were like, he had nowhere to hide. We caught him.
Yeah.
It's like he literally gave himself in. Like he was like, hey, if I'm not in the McDonald's, I'll be charging my phone down the street. And they're like, yeah, we got him.
Yeah. Frank Robert James had nowhere else to run or hide and is now in NYPD custody. The work of our detectives is second to none, and the dedication of our patrol officers is never ending, he says after they had trouble finding him after he turned himself in.
Yeah, why would you? Maybe whoever does their social media wasn't in the know, but like that's only going to come and bite you on the ass.
Yeah.
Don't be smug about it if you didn't really do it.
Yeah, well, I also, I don't think it was in this article. It was in one of the other things I read about. It was like they were saying they were increasing police presence in the subways to stop this sort of thing from happening. And someone was saying that, like, oh, well, what are they going to do? Put a police officer? Like, the extra police presence isn't going to help.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
I don't know if the timeline actually lines up, but I have heard that while this was happening and they were looking for the guy who did the shooting, there was another team of New York City police that were arresting people, like homeless people in Central Park or something, just for the crime of existing homelessly.
Yeah.
So
it's like top to bottom, it's like cultural issues, right? It's not it's nothing that police funding is going to solve, especially because it's like, oh, another shooting where a gun was perfectly legally purchased, and everything was like, it's like maybe there's an issue of gun control here. Maybe there's an issue of if we're going to fund anything like mental health support. There's like the list is extensive before you get to more cops. I don't see any way, unless there happened to be, like people said, unless there happened to be a police officer in that train carriage, like right next to him. I don't see how that could have helped.
Well, it might be. Yeah. Okay. So, this was. Oh, where's his name? His first name is probably higher up in the article, but it's a guy named Reynoso. He said, more cops is not necessarily going to solve this problem. I think there are root causes to this violence that exist. Mostly mental health at this point is what we're seeing in New York City. The guy was from Philadelphia. He came to New York City, but that's kind of beside the point. And that's where we should be spending resources and energy. More cops to respond to a crime won't necessarily stop the crime. In this case, the individual was inside a train car, so unless you believe that you can put a police officer in every single train car in New York City, which is physically impossible, that is not the way we're going to solve that issue. Counterpoint, that is physically possible. It's just highly, highly impractical.
Yeah. It's not really feasible, but it's technically possible. But yeah, no, I think I mean the first thing I thought was like, why is it so easy to legally have semi-automatic handguns?
Yeah. Because he got 30 shots off.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a miracle nobody died. Like,
yeah. Well, not a miracle. You said
not
miracle.
A miracle.
That means you're Christian now, automatically, because you said miracle.
I know. Sometimes I say soul. Sometimes I say my soul hurts, and I get really told off for that.
Sometimes I say thank God.
Yeah, that too.
I usually change that to thank fuck, but sometimes my kids are around and they've heard all the words, but formalities have to be observed. And if they hear me swear, they immediately all turn to me and point and go, "You said a no word."
I can't believe you've done this.
It's like, yes, I did say a no word.
I try and go for oh my gosh in a push because it's safe in all areas, but then you sound a bit, oh my gosh, my giddy goodness. No.
I'm sorry, that was just amazing. You just sounded so British with that right there.
Exactly, that's the problem.
All right, so that's kind of all we want to say there is that States has you're a Canadian and a Brit commenting on the state of things in the States.
Yeah.
But you know what?
What is going on with your gun control?
You know what? As much as I don't know if the culture is the same in England, but in Canada, we like to pretend that the States are not as important as they actually are. So anything that makes them look less important is like, oh, well, no, see, the States aren't all that, but really they are the most powerful country in the world.
Yeah.
So what happens there affects the rest of the world. So that's why I comment on American politics. And it's also, it's more eye-catching because Canadian politics is boring because for the most part, we just do it the way it's supposed to be done. For the most part, there are things like Doug Ford that happen. And what's his face out in Alberta.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I complain about British politics pretty regularly, but I
mean, you guys got Boris.
We got Boris, yeah. Boris. But the US news, it affects us all. And I would say probably you would have slightly more right to be concerned because it's next door. So,
oh yeah. I can literally. I feel a
bit safer having an ocean between.
I can literally see buffalo from my front yard.
Oh,
and that's cool. Not like a Sarah Palin exaggeration. I can see Russia from here. That's there's literally a river right over there that I look across it and there's buffalo.
That's cool.
No, it's not because Buffalo's a city that might potentially be on a list of places to drop nukes.
Yeah, no, that's very uncool. I like the idea of being able to see, being able to look across a border like that.
It is kind of nice sometimes because it's I live in a small town and so we can have kind of the small town life. But if we want to do something big city wise, there is Buffalo right over there. And when the borders open, we've been known to pop across to the zoo or the Buffalo Science Center is a lot of fun as well. We've been meaning to go. They have an observatory that they on certain days they will let the public use their telescope, and it's this big giant telescope.
Oh, that's cool.
But we were planning on going to that, and then they shut down the border right before we were about to.
Yeah.
And
got it.
Oh, people are saying Buffalo, the city or the animal? The city. I don't think anyone's going to target the animals, buffaloes.
One
for
really
nukes.
big buffalo. Yeah, we got to take it out.